god damn, she's hot. What? Anyways, up next, we have the... what is this? Inkling suit. It gives me more Excitebike vibes than it does Splatoon. I don't think I have anything I need to prepare for dinner. You know, I am also excited to go on a trip to Asia, of all places, with my dad. And I say that because my dad, in the past, whenever we did go on a trip to Asia, you know, Hong Kong, it would just be my mom or my sister going. Not my dad. My dad didn't really go. I mentioned before how I never considered where my dad was born, right? Well, just in case I didn't, one thing I never considered ever in my entire life was, where was my dad born? Where did my dad grow up? I never once ever thought about that. And can you blame me for never once thinking about that? Because I knew both my parents were from Hong Kong. However, every time we went, my dad wouldn't have gone. Or my dad didn't go. So I was with my mom, I stayed at where my mom grew up. I stayed at where my mom grew up, or I stayed at my uncle's, which is, you know, my mom's brother. So I seen where my mom grew up. I've seen the neighborhood she grew up in, and I've seen the home she grew up in. Not even the house, the home. How anyone was able to raise so many kids in that place, you know, is beyond me. But hey, my grandparents did it. But yeah, like, because my dad never went with us, I never once thought, where was dad born? Where was dad raised? I never thought about that. Never once in my entire life. So this time, with my dad actually coming with us, I can finally see, like, hey, Dad, where were you born? What neighborhood did you grow up in? Like, where was this? You know? And it's also nice to think that while on Dad's side, Grandma may no longer be with us. Matter of fact, Grandma has not been with us for like more than 30 years. I never met Grandma. You know, Grandma may no longer be with us, but you know, it's a nice thought to think. It's a nice idea to think that wherever my dad was born and raised, I don't know, 50 years ago, maybe, I don't know if I would say a century ago, several decades ago, Grandma was here raising my dad. And then, you know, decades later, my dad brought his son back to where he grew up and was like, son, this is where Grandma raised me. You know, it's a nice thought. Where Grandma was all those years ago, many, many years later, her descendant steps foot on the same place where she was once. You know, it's a nice thought. You know, maybe one day, many, and I mean many years from now, decades from now, who knows, maybe my grandkid will be exactly right here where, oh shit. Maybe one day my grandkid will come back to exactly where I am right now and realize, hey, this is where Grandpa grew up. This is where Grandpa sat on his ass and played Mario Kart. But yeah, it's gonna be nice to finally see, like, hey Dad, this is where you grew up? This is the neighborhood where you grew up? This is the hospital you were born? You know, maybe 15 years ago, maybe more, maybe less. Around 15 years ago, when my entire family took a trip together, and my dad was also there, I was too young. I never even thought about this question. So I was too young. I never considered, hey Dad, where were you born? And from what I was told, it turns out that my dad actually wanted us to go. But because I was a stubborn, stupid child who hated the heat, and we also went in the summer, I wouldn't budge. From what I was told, I would not budge. I didn't want to leave the air-conditioned apartment that my uncle was letting us stay at. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't budge. So my dad took my sister to show her where he was born and raised. And I missed out. I didn't know at the time. I was too young at the time. But now that I am more... I wouldn't even call myself mature, but I'm more mature than I was back then. Now that I'm more grown, let's say that. Well, now I can truly appreciate it, you know? Appreciate all these years ago. This is when my dad popped out into the world. Little did he know at the time, I don't know, like 30 plus years later, I would pop out. And I've been nothing but disappointments ever since. So yeah, this time I can finally see where my dad was born and raised. The Boo stole my protection at just the right time, or I should say just the wrong time. I cannot see anything! And you know what's funny about my dad? He actually didn't, he didn't grow up in Hong Kong for too long. Oh man, I tried. From what my dad told me, you know, to his memory, he left Hong Kong and moved to England when he was like 13. And then he moved to Canada when he was 18. So I'm not exactly sure when in the timeline he met my mom, and then, you know, the rest is history. Me being living proof of that. Ooh, 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 ooh! I got lucky there. But yeah, I don't know when in the timeline my dad met my mom, because I'm pretty sure my dad met my mom in Hong Kong, not in Canada. I don't know how that worked, you know? I'm pretty sure my dad lived here in Canada, my mom was living in Hong Kong, and then... I'm pretty sure they met in Hong Kong, right? But then that'd be so... complicated, you know? It's like... Like, I imagine my dad lived here. Like, he had a home here. Like, he didn't just move back to Hong Kong for a bit. And then, now that he had a wife, it's like, hey, let's move the whole family over here. Unless that's exactly what happened, what do I know? It's just my parents' story. I can't tell. Is that supposed to be a shortcut there? I don't think I got anyone with that Bob-omb just now. Bob-omb. I didn't get any items there. No! Don't you dare! Okay, I'll take third place. This isn't necessarily the easiest map, so third place, I'll take it. I still got first overall. You know how dangerous it is for you to be throwing things at me when I'm holding an explosive? Alright, I think I only have time to record one more for today.